views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups. If you'd like to produce a show, call us at 260-421-1250.
Let me be your lighthouse so I can show you the way. Let me be your shining light, I'll keep you from drifting away. I'm the one that makes you try when...
Hello, this is Patty Hunter of Patty's Page. Today's special guest on Zoom is Mr. James E. Clark.
Thank you.
He is a screenwriter, actor, and extraordinaire and all that. So we're going to be talking to him for next 25, 28 minutes. So how are you doing, James? Or shall I call you Jim?
Please call me Jim.
Jim.
Please. How am I doing? I'm doing fine. I'm dandy. Life is good.
Life is definitely good.
Yeah.
So where were you born and raised?
Born in Minneapolis, Minnesota, raised in Southern California. When I was 5, the company he worked for transferred him to Long Beach, California. So from 5 to 15, I grew up in downtown Long Beach, about 6 blocks from the beach. And then when I was 15, my folks bought their first house in Huntington Beach. So we moved to Huntington Beach, and I was there from 15 to 20.
Is that north or south?
Huntington Beach?
Yeah.
Oh, Southern California.
Yeah. We lived in Rancho Santa Margarita for about 11, 12 years.
Okay. Very good.
So, where are you now?
Corona, California.
Corona. Boy, you moved a lot, don't you?
Well, I've been in Corona since 1980.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I'll accept that.
Okay.
As a boy, who had influenced you the most?
Well, the two major men in my life when I was a boy were my dad, a hardworking man. He worked hard his whole life.
Yeah.
And he knew what it was like to financially live on the edge. And but our house was always filled with love. And he was a great man. And then in junior high, I had a civics teacher by the name of Bill Jensen. And he taught me what it was like, to be a good American citizen in my civics class.
Sure.
And he and I actually remained friends until I was probably in my mid-20s. And then
Passed away.
life just my life went one way and his life went another, but he was a great mentor to me in my early teen years.
So, what schools did you go to as you were growing up?
Okay. In Long Beach, I went to Edison Elementary from kindergarten through 6th grade. And then at that time, we had junior highs. So it was 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. And I went to George Washington Junior High. And then I spent one summer session at Long Beach Polytechnic High, where I took driver's ed, and that summer session. And then my folks bought their house in Huntington Beach. So in Huntington Beach, I went to high school at Marina High.
I heard of that.
The Marina Vikings.
You're living in Orange, aren't you? Or are you just north or south of it?
Well, Huntington Beach is in Orange County. Corona, where I live now, is in Riverside County, but we're right next door to the Orange County line.
We lived in Orange.
Yeah.
Not that I'm wearing orange right now, but you know. Did you live through the earthquakes that that happened there in Riverside?
Well, we've had a lot of earthquakes here. The main one that I remember was the Northridge quake of 1971. I mean, that was a big one. But there are always earthquakes going on here in Southern California.
Like to shake things up, eh?
Yeah, trying to shake things up.
The fault says it's not my fault, shall
Yeah,
we?
I don't feel them unless they're above a 5.3 or 5.4. Every once in a while I'll feel a little kind of off certs, and I look at the chandelier in our kitchen to see if it's moving. So
As long as there's no cracks in the house, that's great.
yeah,
After high school, did you go to university?
I did, but in between I was in the Army. After high school, I worked with my dad as a truck driver until I was about 20, and I knew I was going to get drafted. So I went in the Army knowing that I would be in a unit that was stationed in Germany. And I was in a mobile tactical nuclear missile unit. And I was involved at the height of the Cold War. So it was an interesting 3 years.
Oh boy,
Mm.
I know that. So when you went to university, what did you major in?
Well, when I came home, I went to the local junior college to get all of my transfer credits out of the way.
Good.
And then I transferred to California State University at Fullerton, where I majored in business finance. But at the junior high is where I met my wife.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we got married, and I went to Fullerton on the GI Bill. And then in the mid 80s, I decided I wanted to get my MBA. So I was working full time and working on my MBA at the same time. And I got that from California State University at San Bernardino. And
Mercy.
that was in marketing.
You can't stop learning, can you?
No, never stop
That
learning.
is so true. Even when you go to heaven, you still don't stop learning.
Oh, that absolutely.
Do you remember what your first job was?
Yes.
What was it?
I was a paper boy for the Long Beach Press Telegram. I learned a lot. I learned responsibility doing that.
So you're a wee laddie when you were a paper boy, right?
I was 11 and 12.
October. Telling you. And what other jobs have you held, and your duties and your title and all that sort of jazz?
Well, in the Army, I was the supply clerk for the missile maintenance department.
Wow.
My responsibility was to maintain the inventory of all the parts, supply and repair parts for the missiles and all of the equipment that supported the missiles. Then when I came home and I was going to the junior college, I worked for a sporting goods wholesaler in their warehouse, picking orders for the customers. And then when I graduated from college, I was a financial analyst for a couple of aerospace companies. From there, I became a regional controller for a building materials manufacturing firm right here in Corona. And then from there, I transitioned into healthcare, where I got my license as a skilled nursing administrator, and I ran nursing homes for 30 years.
Well, I'll be darned.
Mm-hmm.
What's the situation with the nursing homes now? Are they better or worse nowadays, or?
I've been out of the business since 2014. I retired at the end of 2014. So for what's going on today, I couldn't address that.
Okay.
Matter of fact, since I got out in 2014, I've never been back inside another facility.
So, when did you become interested in the media business, and what kind of topics, subjects?
Yeah, let me add something about the Army to that, because
Sure.
it's going to play in.
Right.
It was in the Army when I became a Christian. And I remember probably about 2 months after I became a Christian, something happened that was just struck me creatively
Right.
about God's gift of life. I was walking across the parade ground, and it was a cool morning, and I was by myself. I can't remember where I was headed, but I was going somewhere. And all of a sudden, I stopped, and I heard birds singing in the trees.
Mm.
And I remember thinking to myself, I couldn't remember the last time I ever heard birds sing. That my life had been that far away from God's creation.
Oh, oh,
And so that's where that happened. Now, Brent, let's transition that into the media question.
yeah.
I've always enjoyed movies, even as a kid. In Long Beach, I lived where there were within a 10-minute walking distance of, I think, 6 different movie theaters.
Wow.
And so I saw a lot of movies, and I watched a lot of TV as a kid. You know, the black and white westerns, all of those things. As a young kid, those were always exciting to
Hopalong
watch.
Cassidy.
Hopalong Cassidy, Wanted Dead or Alive, Gunsmoke, all of those. Um, so I had that interest all along, and I always had a desire to write,
Mm.
and as a young person, I was kind of a show off, so acting just kind of plays into that.
You're a normal human being, in a way.
In a way, yeah, I suppose I am.
I'm sorry.
So early on, I was interested in media, but I didn't apply it until I retired.
How long have you been in the business of screenwriting?
Yes, screenwriting, a
Wow.
little bit of acting, but screenwriting is writing is my passion.
What are
So
some of
that's been going on now since 2016.
in 7 years?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. High five.
And thank you. And I've gotten education there. There's a great program called online called Screenwriting U, and I have been for the last 3.5 years, I've been taking all kinds of courses through Screenwriting U. Great program for anybody who's interested. So,
Do you have any works that have been accomplished and watched on the cinema screen yourself?
no, nothing that has been produced yet.
Mhm.
I have one screenplay that has won several awards at film festivals, um, and I'm still elevating it, even though it's won awards. And the reason I'm elevating it is because it's time for me to start pitching it to producers, and it has to be top quality for me to be able to pitch to producers.
You have to learn how to do it. Practice makes perfect, and then as you go along, you mature and get better and better.
Absolutely, that's what it's all about. And then I have several others behind that one that I'm in the process of writing or elevating because they've already been written.
So the one that you got that was established, that you got awards for, which one was that?
The title of it is called The Greenhouse.
Do tell what it's about.
Well, all of my screenplays are going to be faith-based and/or family-friendly.
Good.
So The Greenhouse, the genre is faith-based. The theme is pro-life. And the log line is, excuse me. The log line for the film is grieving over the brutal murder of his pregnant daughter.
Oh,
A playboy LA abortionist gives up his practice, moves to rural Tennessee, where he raises plants in a greenhouse that are inhabited by the souls of babies he aborted, and they communicate with him.
God's way of communicating with him.
Yes.
See that?
Yes, I see it.
The Lord himself crucified, died for including our unborn.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I've been buying paintings like that. Well, that's an imprint of big paintings from a woman getting stuff like that.
Uh,
And
yeah.
man, that's really powerful what she is painting. So
Mm.
I can give you later the name of her if you wish.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, if you can send me that, that would be wonderful.
So how about plays?
I have I had a role in a local community theater production of Annie. I was the police officer and I was in the chorus and all of that. That
Wow.
was fun.
You sing?
Um, hmm,
Do you sing?
I do. I sing. I was in choir both in high school and a little bit in college.
So you tenor or bass?
Baritone.
Baritone. I was getting
Mhm.
there. I'm a alto myself.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. Although we have a daughter who is a soprano and she has a gorgeous voice.
Is
Uh,
she employed by for singing or
no, not at all. But she studied singing while she was in college, and she had been singing, you know, in since she was about 12. And then after college, she was in a professional choral group, uh, and she was there. She was one of their lead sopranos. So
oh dang.
yeah.
That's great. I like singing, even though I am tone deaf. So you're an actor.
Yes, but not. It's not major for me. I've done some student films. I had a lead role in a student film
Mm-hmm.
where it was called The Regulars, where uh, there was this old curmudgeon, me, and a woman my age who went to the same cafe every morning at the same time. And the staff decided they were going to matchmake, restaurant staff. So because we were the regulars, so it was fun. And I've done some other short films, uh, and I was just recently in a film called Faith Wins, and Rich Little was in that film.
Starring himself?
Pardon me?
Starring himself?
No. He had a supporting role. I had a very small supporting role, but it was the story takes place in Las Vegas, and it's about being homeless in Las Vegas. And
Mhm.
it was produced by a friend of mine, and he a large portion of any earnings from that film go to help support agencies in Las Vegas for the homeless. So,
I want to know, we deal with the homeless here.
uh-huh.
So you help them with money, clothing, or what?
Well, I'm not involved in that. I just had a role, but the funds that a portion of the funds that they get from the movie goes to help support the
That's good.
homeless in Las Vegas, but specifically Las Vegas.
So do you have any charities that you deal with, do work for?
Yes, a matter of fact, the pregnancy clinic here in Corona Life Services. My wife and I are big supporters of them, um, and
You volunteer?
my wife does.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So I'm with Lutherans for Life here
Hmm.
in Fort Wayne,
Okay.
media advisor. But it is a good thing that we are pro-life. I mean, who else is going to take care of our wee ones?
Absolutely. Um, you know, you know, David was very serious when he said, that God knew him while he was being formed in his mother's womb. And
It ain't no accident being a baby.
no, absolutely. You know, they're not accidents and they're not an inconvenience.
They're there because the Lord says so.
Mhm.
And to please him and the family that get together. Oh,
Yeah.
I love children. My late aunt was an abortionist back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s in Toronto, in the Mayo Clinic. I've been fighting since I was in my early 20s. I'm now 71. I've been fighting abortion ever since.
Well, good
It took
for
me a
you.
long time to forgive her.
Yeah, no, I understand. I do. It's difficult. Every day, my wife is a CPA and we have a CPA firm here in Corona.
Oh, yeah.
And every day coming back and forth from the office, I drive by an abortion clinic and I have to keep reminding myself that the people in there are not the enemy. The people who are doing that are victims of the enemy, which is Satan.
I forgive the women who are pressured into it.
Yeah.
They're scared. They don't know where else to go. And
Yep.
people are saying, abort, abort, abort. And they're pressured. It's not their fault. They have to be forgiven.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Did you listen to my A Touch of Life?
Pardon me, I'm sorry.
Did you listen to my music video, A Touch of Life?
No, I have not had an opportunity to do that yet.
Well, it's all about that. I'm writing about my late aunt, and Jesus is there for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would you like to say to my audience to encourage them?
Well, first, to the members of the audience who are Christians, trust in God. Allow him to penetrate your heart, not only day by day, but moment by moment, and stay in the Word. Read your Bible daily. Doesn't matter if it's Old Testament, New Testament, doesn't matter. Spend time in the Word, talking with the Lord and sharing your heart with the Lord. To those of you who are not Christians, I would encourage you to recognize that there is a God and we aren't him.
Yes, and we are not alone, no matter how low we get or how
exactly
high. Especially people who are coerced or pushed into aborting their own. And I forgive the abortionists, even though they do the killing. I can't hate being a Christian. There's no way.
Yeah. So
I would like to thank you, James E. Clark, or Jim. Thank you, kiddo, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Patty.
came down from heaven, accepting their fates and loving their moms. He will never leave them. Repent, oh I say repent, evil doors who are against mankind. God's hand will be upon those who are on earth. Repent so that you won't be left behind. Repent, 'cause you too can be saved. A touch of life was given by God. Only through Him should they die. A touch of life was given by God. Only through Him should they die. A touch of life was given by God. Only through Him should they die. A touch of life was given by God. Only through Him should they die. A touch of life was given by God. Only through Him should they die. A touch of life was given by God. Only through Him should they die. Only through Him should they die.